Welcome back to Rolling Shots, a show where I talk to car owners while I'm shooting rolling shots and driving, and a show that I'm still learning how to make.
I said to Sam, we have to do this one at night because the RX-7 throws crazy flames out the back, so the daytime shoot was not an option.
Because we were shooting at night, that means there's a whole new set of challenges from a camera standpoint, from a storytelling standpoint, and a location standpoint. And I tried to account for some of those things, but like I said, this is a learning experience and we're all learning together.
And if that's not bad enough, I told Sam, you only got one shot at this because after tomorrow, the car doesn't exist.
Instead of boring you guys with what not to do all at once, let's just get into it. Let's start the story and we'll stop along the way and point out a couple little details.
I'm sure it's not even that bad, but Sam's pretty nitpicky, so let's see.
Yeah, pretty nitpicky is probably right.
Yeah. We're gonna roll over the bridge into the port, and then we're gonna head into TV. Let's go get some rollers.
This one or the next one?
This one. All right, no, I lied. You gotta make a left and then a right on
Magnolia.
Magnolia, that's the one. And then that will go to the end and then we'll make a right and that takes us to the bridge.
Oh, fuck off camera. Dude, this might just be
what is
the...
that? You're filming your tire. Oh, you're back. The light, I mean, I'm wearing like kind of warm tinted sunglasses, but the light looks like really nice. All that pollution sure does make for good sunsets.
All right, let's get up to speed and try and keep that traffic behind us. Does it look like the camera's still pointed at you?
You're like super blown out, so it's hard to tell. It looks like it's working, like where it's pointing.
All right, well that's good because my screen just went blank. One really important thing that I found out, and you can kind of tell throughout the footage, is that the DJI RavenEye has a very weak Wi-Fi signal, and you have to be very physically close to it, and from the driver's seat to the back of the car is too far. So once we got moving, going across the bridge, I had no monitor whatsoever. I just crossed my fingers, and because we were shooting at sunset, there was no going back. It kind of did the job, but now I know better.
But it worked. Okay, yeah, I just need you to speak up if you're asked any questions, because like I don't have noise canceling.
Okay.
Yeah. You're a sweet, smooth, low talker. I need you to shout like an asshole.
Well, yeah, but if I do that too much, then I'm gonna cap my own mic.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe I'll does it matter if I roll my window up a bit?
Oh, roll your window all the way up.
Okay, yeah, maybe it's just because it's like a lot of outside noise.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had your window down.
Yeah, my window, I mean, I always drive with the windows down. Should I have them up?
Yeah, you should definitely have them up.
Okay. Hey, I learned something new. Okay. Well, aren't you glad that we figured that out now and not after we did the whole thing? And it's like...
Yeah, of course.
The whole fucking time. All right, let's go after that first-gen Raptor Super Cab. Oh, baby!
Oh, I didn't realize it was a scab. Hell yeah. Okay, get over to my left. All the way. Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I hear you fine. This is way better.
Funny how that works. So crazy.
Yeah, just hot. I don't turn my air conditioning on, even though this car sucks to drive with it on.
So I was really trying to simplify the setup and allow myself to move the camera arm from the front to the back of the car and eliminate as much downtime as possible because we were shooting at sunset. But doing that with the rigged Ultra Swing seemed like a great idea because it was super accessible, but it was actually really vibration prone, and it's not Rig's fault, it's not Tilta's fault, it's my fault for trying to merge these two things that are not supposed to play well together. And it's kind of Vin's fault because he's the one that said we gotta shoot it tonight.
Yeah, but yeah, the rigged, I mean, that's not meant to hold a camera. I wonder if it's even just how it goes into the trailer hitch. There's no like
yeah, I got hooked up with the guys at Cinemilled, and I think I've got all the parts that we need now, and the next one should be better. And that's the whole point of this, so let's carry on.
what's not happening.
I mean, the irony of having this epic shot, but being stuck in 15-mile-an-hour traffic speed kind of makes it the perfect way to start this episode where you tell me about this car that you didn't build and bought and now are selling. You've had a bunch of other cars that you have extensively worked on and modified, and this one's so unique because it came to you so dialed already, and it's almost like the most mature thing ever to get a car that's dialed and have the hindsight to just be like, I'm not gonna fuck with this thing. It's already exactly how I want it. Why would I change it just to personalize it?
Yeah, this car is weird for me because I've always been a big proponent of like built not bought, but I actually stumbled upon this car because I was going through a lot of the like JDM heroes. I had a 91 NSX, and then I had a 93 Supra, the Mark IV Supra, and then I sold, the Supra was really underwhelming, so I sold it and I bought an Evo 9, but it was my third Evo 9, so I quickly decided that I didn't want to build another Evo. And I was having a hard time selling it, and I offered to trade for this car, and the guy accepted. And this car is a really special RX-7. It's a CYM, which is the color code. It's a competition Yellow Mica, and they only made 350 of these cars. It's a R1 spec, so there's no sunroof. It's a lighter weight package. It's a really unique and special RX-7. The guy did a great job. He's owned it for 20 years. It had everything I could have ever imagined wanting to do on it. And I actually joked that I wouldn't have built this car so well because I would have went more over the top with mods and probably made it worse.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, you can totally tell that like the way I described the other cars that you've built and how people typically go at it very strategically and him and ha over every little mod, that guy did this and you just happened to get it already dialed. And
yeah, and honestly it's a really good example of like just building a perfect street car. And you know, I've lived in the YouTube space for a long time, and I think YouTube builders have like really jumped the shark with like what cars are. Like, people now just build stuff that's complete nonsense for views, and it doesn't even make for a good car. And you know, I've built cars for YouTube as well, but they've always sort of been my own style. But I've done a little bit more than I've wanted to do for them for content. For example, my E36, the green car, the LS race car, is great, but it makes way too much power. But you did it because we needed, like, you want like a hook, a big power LS, and an E36 is more interesting than like putting an S54 in it and having a nice tame track car.
yeah, that's totally understandable.
That's only the tip of the iceberg when you look at like half the stuff people are building out there. Like, that's just completely useless but good for clicks.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you use the E36 as that example though, because I feel like the E36 does check a lot of those boxes, whereas there are definitely other cars that are built not necessarily by you, but like in general, yeah, we're flooded with all sorts of shit that is just purely not clickbait, but like it's for the clicks and not for somebody's personal taste. But I don't feel like any of the cars that you've had as long as I've known you have fallen into that clickbait category.
No, not at all. Because I like clean, tasteful, very simple cars. I've always joked at Hoonigan that I was like, I'm into boring looking cars. Because like, you know, being in the Euro car scene, people spend tremendous amounts of money, time, and effort to build cars that look like they don't have any mods or like could be confused as a stock car. You know, like I talked to some of my JDM car friends and I explained to them about like grafting Audi door handles onto a Volkswagen, and they're like, but it looks stock. Like, why would you do it?
Yeah, and in many cases, it's even uglier than it was when Volkswagen made it, yet that's what makes it cool.
Yeah, I showed Charlie examples of how many different configurations you could shave a Mark IV hatch. And he was just like, I don't understand the stuff you're into at all. Yet, like, you know, growing up, we were like, you could shave the emblem, you could shave the handle, you could do both, or you could do like one or the other. And like, everyone had a different thing. Because the Volkswagen scene was sort of like parallel to what YouTube does, in that it's like, a lot of times, back in the day, VW Vortex, like, people weren't building, well, okay, I'll say, it almost felt like people wanted to do stuff that was different more than what they liked. You know, and I knew plenty of people who like didn't do an exact thing they wanted to do because another car had it, or they did something because they were like, no one's ran these wheels, or no one's did this mod before, and you're like, yeah, it's because it's like not that cool. It doesn't really look that good.
It's so strange to me though, because maybe it's that I don't have as much knowledge about some of the cars, like the, was it an S15 that you had
14
a while ago? 14. So like, I don't know everything about that car, so I can't even tell if you took that Euro mindset and applied it to that car or not, because some of the stuff was so over the top that it was tough to say if it was like a door handle off of something else, because I don't know what the fuck those other door handles look like.
Right, yeah, and I think like that's like
why it's such a specific thing to Volkswagen nerds, because only a Volkswagen nerd would instantly know what an Audi 80 door handle looks like, and also know the checklist of all the cars that an Audi 80 door handle looks appropriate in.
It's so ridiculous, but when you think about it, I explained it once as you're like rewarded for the self-control of not going over the top in a Euro car world. Like, you want to make your car super dope, but you also sort of want it to just like blend into traffic in a way. Whereas like the JDM car scene, like, everything is very over the top. You want, you know, big body kits, big quote unquote aero. You want, you know, a livery on a street car. You want like things that look very tuner. Whereas the Euro car world is very like, you want it to look super stock, and it's sort of like an if you know situation. Because I remember all my favorite cars that I built growing up, like, if you didn't know about cars or that specific car, you'd probably be like, oh, it's just like lowered on wheels.
100%. Yeah, but I mean, again, like going back to your other cars, like the E36, and now the Ferrari for that matter too. Like the E36 is a wild color, but also it's a color that I could have or would completely imagine on like a 1997 Mazda.
Yeah, well, that's actually an OEM BMW color off of the Z3 M2.
Oh, I think I did know that.
Because it's nice to like do something that is OEM but not applied to that car. Because my whole like ethos with cars is like sort of just love like really subtle styling.
I'm not sure if we should be turning here or not, but I think for the sake of...
Take a right. You go right and then you like go up. Yeah, you go up this hill.
Yeah, and then we'll take a left.
And then you take a left somewhere and it like wraps you around. Should we pause combos and stuff until we get to like a better location?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that like, I'm not trying to have this whole thing be so overproduced that it's obvious when we do that. And I think that like the organic sitting in traffic having a conversation thing does make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
The one reason I will stop though is just to make sure that camera is still recording.
Yeah, no worries.
And I think like we'll get up here and maybe start cruising around RPV a little bit, and then I want to swap the camera to the front.
Okay.
Both because I want that rear angle of you coming around some of those right-hand corners and revealing the ocean and the cliffs.
This might
And
be
also,
cool, 'cause if you look in your rear view, this is pretty sick right now behind us.
yeah, I mean, I like this side street right now a
Yeah,
ton.
this looks, behind us looks fucking tight.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, dude, it looks sick.
Oh, and we're about to go into some sun too. Hang back just a little bit.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you want to be a little closer.
I'll tell you roughly where to be. I just zoomed the lens in, so I want to get a little bit of that compression of. Oh yeah, coming over this. Man, San Pedro's a rad little town. It's just so inconvenient for every single direction that you would ever want to drive.
Yeah, I like San Pedro, but yeah, exactly. It fucking sucks to get to no matter what. Yeah, dude, behind us is so cool. Shit. That's sick. Fire me off another question, dog. Let's talk.
I think we might stop for a second. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is perfect because this is not a bad spot to do a couple beauty shots, but...
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I would have never come here, but yeah, it's sick. Dude, where do you want me parked? That's how you have to start a rotary, you just gotta rev it. It's like having an old dirt bike. You just gotta, you know,
I realized I had my
clear her out. Hello, Sam! I realized I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that doesn't help.
Give me some room to angle out, dude. Shit, it's like you haven't driven a lowered car in a long time, you know?
Well, you can come up right next to me.
Oh, I'm good. I'm right here.
Do you see the little mic thing going up and down in the top right corner?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. All right, when
Love the way the car sounds.
get closer again. Nice.
God damn, look at that view. Sheesh.
We will keep going. See that road just to the right of us?
Yeah.
That's the road that I want to get up on and shoot you from behind.
Oh, that's sick, yeah.
So we'll turn in right here.
Shoot me from behind. So I'll be on the street or no? Oh, yeah, I get it. So you'll be like shooting through the trees.
Yeah, I'll be on the side street and you'll be in the
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. Looks clear right now. You want to roll?
Let's go.
Where should I be?
Yeah, right there.
Should I throw a little flame?
Hold on, we're gonna have to do it again.
Do it again?
Turn in.
You want me to U-turn or wait?
All right, give me just did you find a spot close to pull over?
Yeah. Do you want me to turn around or do you want to wait?
Where I lost you.
Oh, yeah, you'll see me in 1 second. What do you want to do? Go straight?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Okay.
It's kind of shitty right here, but it'll smooth out like after we make that bend to the right.
Hey,
Hey,
yo, finally, service.
put your windows up.
Give it a day or two. Hang on. It's going slowly. Do we want to yap?
Yeah, let's let the couple cars behind us pass. Hop right in front of me for a sec. All right, the next thing is, if we're shooting close to sunset and time is a crunch, you gotta plan the questions.
Sunset happens really fast, especially as we're up in the hills. I feel like the sunset, it was like golden hour and then dark in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, so if we're shooting close to sunset and there's obvious indicators of the sunset in the footage, you should probably plan the questions chronologically, because if you try and put them out of order and the sunset is changing in the background, it's going to look really whack. And by plan the questions, I mean planning the questions was actually my next thing, because I didn't really plan questions.
And I'm a talker, so I just feel bad because I could ramble for like hours on nothing.
So one of the things that I feel like is a very Vin item on this car is the TEs, because I know that that's something that you do to most of your cars when you first get them. Is this a color of TE that you would put on your car if it was yours?
No,
or are you
No, I think on yellow I would do bronze, just because I really love yellow on bronze. Or I would do white. But these look really nice. Again, it's like a really like street classy look, I think. But I would kind of want to turn the riciness up just a hair and do bronze or white for sure.
If you're shooting at sunset, what happens at the end of the sunset is it gets dark. So plan for that too.
But I think like rolling shots at night look friggin' awesome. The big thing that we didn't consider is how hard it is to drive if you have a light in your face in your car at night.
And we didn't even consider putting a light in our faces, because I didn't think about the fact that we'd be shooting at night and had cameras shooting
and the
us.
RX-7 being such a small car, there's not a ton of like natural light that comes into it. I feel like it's very dark in the cabin,
Totally.
But I think there's a way to work around it because the nighttime rollers look so cool. Oh wow, yeah, my interior lights.
I'm just gonna
really
let that
worked
camera
out.
keep rolling while we do this. Should only take a sec.
Well,
Yeah.
hang on. How does this look? Oh my god. I could light myself.
Kinda is what it is at this point. This might be chalked up to just a failed attempt, a bonus episode. Now I know.
See how those look. I'll turn my hat around. All right, let's run it.
I'm curious to hear what somebody else's story is like.
Yeah, so my dad was into muscle cars. His dream when I was a kid, he would only talk about he wanted a 69 Camaro or 70 Chevelle. Those were like his dream cars. And, you know, hearing about that forever, it made me sort of into muscle cars, because that's what my dad was into. But when he got that car when I was like a teenager, I drove it. I think it was actually the first car I ever drove a manual transmission in, and it was cool. But I sort of felt like muscle cars weren't really like practical. You know, like you couldn't daily drive a muscle car, and at the time, you know, having two cars was like out of the question. So I wanted something cool, and my buddy had a Honda CRX, and the exhaust fell off, and he used to let me drive that thing all the time. And being able, this is the stupidest thing, being able to hear the exhaust and drive a manual while like jamming out to some probably like early 2000s emo made me want like a sports car. But in New York in like the early thousands, you couldn't own a Honda without it getting stolen. So naturally, I went to a Volkswagen.
That's fair.
And my brother had a Mark III 2.0 Jetta 5-speed, and Greg the Swoops also had a 2.0 5-speed Jetta. So you know, those were fun, and it kind of like that was our original crew. It was like me, Paul, Eric, Greg, his brother, like those guys just like dicking around with Volkswagens, and a couple other dudes we went to high school with that actually two of them bought SLC Corrados, which I thought was like the coolest car in the world at the time. I just really want to experience like a lot of cars, and I don't mind, like I'm very like comfortable buying and selling cars. Like to some people, buying a car is a very big asset, and selling a car is another big challenge to like move through things like that. But after, like, I'm so desensitized to buying and selling cars that like that big, oh shit, I can't believe I'm spending all this money, or I can't believe I'm actually selling this thing. Like, I don't really have that as much anymore. So it's not so much that I flip cars. It's like, I like buying, I like the experience of trying something new. I like the experience of like modding something to my likings, making it nice and clean. And then if I can get rid of it and get into something else, like, sometimes I don't make any money on a sale. Like, sometimes I'll break even, but in my opinion, like, if I can drive a Mark IV Supra for 6 months and not lose $1, that's a win, you know? Because, like, who else could, you know, how often can you say, like, oh, I own this sick car and I didn't spend $1? Like, that's amazing.